everyone, and welcome to our first live stream. So my name is Meera, this is Sophie.
Hello.
And we are called Taika. So we very recently started playing together. In fact, it was only in August that we started playing together, and we've really enjoyed doing 2 concerts. And this, as I said, this is our first live stream.
It has been part of our mini tour, which is really exciting. So we played in Glasgow 2 weeks ago, and we were lucky enough to get some sunshine, and then we played in Cumbria last week, and here we are. And what we thought was really special about doing a live stream was knowing that it could reach people all over the world. So what we would really love is we'll be doing a bit of a Q&A, and we'll see the live chat at the end, and we would love to know where you're tuning in from today. I think we have multiple time zones as well, so I'm quite excited to hear about that.
So it would be great. I'm not sure if anyone can see the live chat on YouTube, but if you could all comment in the live chat where you're watching from, that would be really interesting. So you'll also notice that in the description, so just below the video, we have written out our program and some details about our websites, mailing lists, that kind of thing. But there's also a link to a GoFundMe page. So we decided not to charge for ticket prices, but if you have enjoyed the concert, it would be really great if you could help and donate to our GoFundMe.
Indeed. So we're now going to kick things off with a piece that I absolutely love called the Trousers Jig. And this was written by Stout and McKay, who are a Scottish harp and violin duo. I have to say, for our programme today, we realised last week we have stolen a lot of violin rep, so thank you violinists for that. But this tune, the Trousers Jig, it's from Shetland, which is where I'm from, and it talks a little bit about the story of trows, which are a Shetland trawl, and honestly they're the most mischievous things. They party all night and they sneak around and do really, really silly things, so it's quite fun to play a tune about them. And actually this tune was part of why we've come up with our name, Taika. So Taika is actually Finnish for magic and enchantment. And our next programme, that hopefully you'll hear maybe live, fingers crossed one day, in person, is going to be based around mythology, and this is part of the reason we went for that. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy our first tune, the Trousers Jig.
Well, we do hope that you enjoyed our first tune there, the Trousers Jig. So, Sophie and I we both studied at the Royal Northern College of Music, and although we didn't start our duo until last
7 years later.
Yes, 7 years after the event, but it's really nice that we finally managed to play together. And I should also add that all this technical wizardry, all this live streaming is by no means our doing. So
we just like to play the instruments.
We do like to play the instruments, but the person who set up all the tech and all that side of things is Dom DeGavino, who has his own series, so go and check that out. But thanks Dom for that, and also thank you to Anthony for the use of this lovely barn. We're in Todmorden in this barn. So always round, both Anthony and Dom both studied at the RNCM as well. So it's a bit of a northern reunion, which is very nice. So we're going to move on to something a little bit different now, and the next piece is the Nocturne by Lily Boulanger. So Lily Boulanger, she didn't live very long at all. She only lived into her early 20s. And this Nocturne is, I'd say, one of her most famous works. So it was written to be played on either flute or violin with piano. So I think it works particularly well for harp, and I don't think it's any coincidence that Lily Boulanger was a harpist herself. So it fits really well in the
must have had it in mind, really.
I think she secretly did. But this piece was written very early on in her composition career. Yeah, I think that's all there is to say about this piece. So this is the Nocturne by Lily Boulanger.
Boulanger's Nocturne, originally for violin and piano. However, the next piece in the programme is actually the only one, I think, which is written originally for the harp and flute, and this is written by a terrific Scottish composer called Eddie McGuire. And we were actually lucky enough that he came to our first ever public performance 2 weeks ago, and it was really great because he was actually able to fill us in a bit on what this piece is about. So we thought it was a really good choice seasonally because it's called Folk Memories in Autumn, which we are running into fast now at the end of September. And it was actually written back in 1978 for a BBC documentary on the Orkney Islands. And what I'd read about it before is that some of the ideas behind it were watching the birds in the sky, looking at the coastal lines, and also there's a bit of a mysterious section, which is apparently when people went on a hunt on the beach and found all these mysterious looking shells and things. But it turns out, Meera was having a chat with Eddie last week, and there's also a section about Vikings, which are also a bit of a Shetland tradition, so there's a lot of links to that in our programme today. So yeah, this is Eddie McGuire's Folk Memories in Autumn. McGuire's Folk Memories in Autumn, and I was just smiling to myself there because prior to performing today, Meera and I were rehearsing this piece, and I said the bit where it comes back at the end always reminds me of when David Attenborough's making a really strong statement at the end of a nature documentary, and David Attenborough just brings everyone joy, so it now adds an extra layer of joy to that piece for me.
It's true, and we'd love to hear what your thoughts are about all these pieces.
Absolutely. If you think of David Attenborough too, that would be great. So
yes,
I'm not alone.
Yes.
No, but we'd really love to hear what you think of the programme, if there's any pieces that are your favourite, what you've been really enjoying. For now, I'm just going to do a small solo spot. We both decided that as this was kind of our first run of concerts and our first programme, it would be nice to feature us both playing solo as well. And so I'm now going to play a piece by the Argentine composer Astor Piazzolla. And he wrote this series of pieces, these tangos, back in 1970. He was very well known for establishing a new genre, which is the Nouveau Tango. And an interesting link that I actually learned at our last concert last week was that Piazzolla was actually taught by Lily Boulanger's sister, Nadia Boulanger. And apparently he was trying to write very classical, very proper music, and she decided, what are you doing? Get back to your tango and just enjoy it and be more creative. And I'm really glad she did, because he has written such fantastic pieces since then. So this piece, Primavera, Portena, it's part of a series of 4, and each tango is a symbol of one of the seasons in Buenos Aires. So today I'm going to perform Spring in Buenos Aires, Primavera. Let's try and move it out of the way, it moves all over the place. touring in Buenos Aires. Meera is now going to pop back for the rest of the programme, and I was going to talk about the Villa Lobos, but I'm slightly out of breath after that.
Do you need a breather?
I do need a breather. Do you fancy having a chat?
Fair enough, I will leave. So, while Sophie gets her breath back, it should really be me who's the one who needs to get breath back. So there you go. So the next piece that we're going to play is by Villa Lobos, and the title of this song, it translates as Song of the Black Swan. And as we start to play, you'll hear that Sophie has this ongoing kind of rippling movement, I think would be the best way of describing it. And I have this tune that goes over the top, like this. So that's very much how a swan is. You think of a swan and its legs are going like the clappers, and it looks so graceful and serene gliding over the water. So that's what this piece is about, really. We've decided to program the Villa Lobos after Piazzolla because I think it is quite interesting how the two composers have kind of bridged the gap between classical and more folk music. So Villa Lobos had the opportunity of going down the more kind of popular Brazilian route, such as the likes of Tom Jobim and similar people, but he decided to stick with the classical thing.
And I'm very pleased.
Yeah,
we got some good stuff out of it.
We do indeed. So this is Song of the Black Swan by Villa Lobos. was Song of the Black Swan by Lobos. So it's now my turn to do a bit of a solo number, and I've chosen to play the Allemande from the Partita for solo flute in A minor by J.S Bach. Now, I was talking before about the way in which Lobos chose to go down the classical music route, and I think that the kind of deciding factor for him was he absolutely loved the music of J.S Bach. In fact, he loved the music so much that he wrote a whole set of pieces inspired and kind of, I guess, dedicated to Bach, called the Bachianas Brasileiras, the most famous of which is the fifth one. I'm sure many of you will have heard it's number 5, it's the aria, and that's for soprano and 8 cellos. So in this set there are all kinds of strange combinations. So we have soprano and 8 cellos, there's one for flute and bassoon, which actually I'm hoping to play. So, I digress massively, but as Taika, we hope to do a lot of collaborative projects, and after we put some stuff on Facebook and on social media, and a good friend of ours, Andres Yauri, got in touch. He's a bassoonist, a brilliant bassoonist, and he wanted to play a trio for flute, bassoon and harp by Jolivet. So we're going to be doing that in December. That's the plan. Anyway, so the train of thought was that Andres and I hope to play the Bachianas Brasileiras number 7 for flute and bassoon. So back to Bach, this partitas, there are 4 movements in it. The Allemande is the first one, and it bears a lot of relation to the solo cello suites and also the violin partitas. It works in a lot of the same ways, in that it's a single line instrument, but Bach, being the master that he is, manages to interweave the harmony into the solo part. So that's enough chatter, but this is the Allemande by J.S Bach. that was the Allemande by J.S Bach for solo flute.
I love that piece, it's so beautiful. And what I remember you saying at the last couple of concerts is how at the start of lockdown a lot of musicians ended up going back to Bach because partly there were no musicians to play with.
That's true. Also, yeah, none of us had any friends to make music with, so everyone had to play solo Bach.
Apart from harpists, we actually never wrote any solo pieces, but we do steal the violin partitas and things.
Do you?
Yeah, we steal them all. We've got a big book. So anyway, onwards with that. One thing that Meera and I, when we were thinking of this programme, I think partly for us, but partly for everyone, is we did think that it would be nice to do quite a relaxed programme, quite a comforting programme, so that we can all just kind of have a moment of enjoyment in this crazy time, where they're a little bit, fewer and far between. And so we thought for our last piece, which if there is enough virtual clapping will be our second last piece, we would play what we think of as a very comforting piece, which is Ravel's Pavane. And Meera has a very funny story about this, so I'll hand it over to you.
So, I was listening to Jess Gillam's podcast, This Classical Life. I definitely recommend it. It's brilliant. She gets all kinds of young musicians, friends on the show, and they just talk about their favourite music. So this was one of the pieces they discussed, Ravel's Pavane. And I remember Jess had a brilliant quote from Ravel. So Ravel was listening to a young boy playing his piece, and he turned around to his students and he said, "My dear boy, it is a pavane for a dead princess, not a dead pavane for a princess." So we assumed that the student wasn't playing the piece very well. So we'll try and do a bit better than that. But before we play this piece, and yeah, as Sophie said, if there's enough virtual clapping, we might have something else up our sleeves, multiple sleeves. But yeah, so we'd like to have a little discussion at the end. We hope that everyone's getting involved in the live chat. We can't see this right now. Oh yeah, I see nodding. Apparently everyone's getting involved in the live chat, so that's great news. So just so you can be having a think as we're playing, in our discussion today, we'd like to discuss if everyone remembers back to the time when concerts were happening.
Outside in venues, it's an
remember that time? So we'd really like to hear from you all. Where are your favourite local venues? And as a broader topic, we would like to discuss the idea of kind of smaller, maybe more rural concert series versus the kind of bigger city venues and organisations. Because I mean, for me personally, I definitely think it's important that everyone has kind of music that they can access that's quite
absolutely
easy for them to get to. So yeah, if everyone can kind of comment on what your favourite local music venues and
whether you'd like us to appear there.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So this is our fourth concert. It's only our fourth because we had to do 2 concerts in one day because of distancing. So yeah, when things get going again, we'd really like some ideas of where to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so shall we do some playing?
Yeah, let's play. So this is Ravel's Pavane. Once again, arranged for flute and harp. It was originally for piano, later orchestrated. Now it's for flute and harp.
Ravel's Pavane, I can't pronounce it, infante, Pavane for a dead princess. And I feel really bad when I play that because, you know, the name feels as if it's not very cheerful and I'm meant to be quite, you know, sorrowful and downbeat. I'm having such a great time playing. I was just smiling away through that, which is probably quite inappropriate. But, you know, it's just great to be making music again, and I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone that is listening. I know that we've got people from all over the place. I can't wait to see quite to the extent that that is, but I know we've got some people tuning in from Canada and the States, and it's quite early for you over there. So thank you so much for making the time, and a huge thank you to Anthony, Alison and Andy, with 3 A's, for allowing us to use the barn. It's been really great for us to have this space because it's quite difficult at the moment to find, obviously, places and venues. So a huge thank you to them. And we'll just mention it once more, but if you do feel you're able to and you have enjoyed the concert, there is a link to our GoFundMe page on the YouTube channel, so just in the description. And yeah, anything that you would like to donate would be greatly appreciated by both of us.
It would indeed, and I recently made a mailing list. I'm not very technologically minded, so I was quite proud of myself for making this mailing list. So if you would like to keep in touch and hear about future concerts, because I did a live stream last time and I later realised I can't actually reply to anyone on the live chat, which is a bit of a shame. So yeah, as a way of keeping in touch, we have our Facebook pages, various, but yeah, also the mailing list, because it'd be really nice to keep in touch with everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully be back for another live stream in December, fingers crossed, all goes well with Andres. So if you want to hear some bassoon, flute and harp, do keep your ears to the ground or to the mailing list.
Yeah. That common combination, flute, bassoon and harp.
Indeed. Dom, what do you think? Have we had enough virtual clapping? You reckon so? We've got it. So we're gonna leave you with one more before we decide to have a big chat, because you might have noticed I love to have a blather. And this one is another one that's quite special to me. It's called the Sloka Lights, and it's another Shetland tune. And it's special on many levels. So I'm from the Shetland Islands originally, and folk music was a huge thing for us there. And there's a fiddler that used to be around called Tom Anderson. And he wrote this piece back in the late 60s, and it was when a lot of people were moving away from the island at the time, migrating to countries such as Canada and Australia and New Zealand. And there's actually more people of Shetland heritage in those countries now than there is in the Shetland Islands. So he wrote this piece, and it's called the Sloka Lights, which in Shetland dialect actually means the extinguished lights, and he was inspired by lights going off in all the houses one summer evening as a kind of symbol of people leaving. It was also extra special to me because when I was at school, I had a fantastic teacher called Anne McGuire, and she arranged this for me, and she actually put in this duo part, and I played it on my own for a long time, so she must have known it was going to come up at some point. So again, thank you for listening. We'll look forward to having a chat with you in a couple minutes, but this is the Sloka Lights. ready for the fun part where I get to chat away to you? I'm excited.
That's
Not
what
that
you're
that wasn't
excited
fun.
for, isn't it?
Not that that wasn't fun. I'm sorry. Okay, right, wrong. It's, I do like the leather. I'm just gonna grab the phone.
Sit about here. We're okay.
How are we? You
Yeah.
can see us both.
Oh, good.
We'll wave.
Hello, hello.
So this is a very, very funny thing to do because we need to upload our phones to see the chat. Oh my goodness. So many
Is it a
messages.
shock?
It is. People are very nice. Thank you.
Oh wow. Okay. Right.
So
How
where
should we
to
do
start?
this? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I would love to hear where people were listening from. That's a big one. Do we have to go? Oh, we go back to the start.
We have to go all the way back to the start.
Ayrshire, Sheffield, from the US. Hi, Ivan.
Oh, hi, bud.
Yeah.
It's been years. Been years.
Oh, Chesterfield.
And there's Jackie from
Walston.
Wensleydale. Jackie who came to a concert
Oh,
the other day.
of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Jackie.
Hi.
Excellent.
Carlisle. Oh, Keziah's watching as well. Fantastic. This is probably very dull for all of you, but very good for all. Australia as well. Oh my goodness, what time is
Wow.
it in Australia? Wow, that is dedicated. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Wow, Portugal. Bits of the family back in Scotland are watching.
Leicester Music Festival.
Oh, this is terrific.
very
Thank
nice,
you so
very
much.
nice.
Thank you. So much.
Leicester Music Festival, they have their festival on at the minute, which I know you can catch up on.
Yeah, they're streaming.
yeah, and-
Eddie's listening from Glasgow.
Oh, yeah, Eddie.
Australia. Oh,
Excellent.
this is fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so
Cracking,
much.
cracking.
So yeah, so what we did, we wanted to talk about a little bit. For us, actually, was yes, we'd like it if you have any questions or if you'd like to say anything about the program. But yeah, our question was for you about if there's any particular venues that you like, anywhere that you would like us to see us play, because it would be really brilliant. I think music's going to take a big turn as to how it's done, and I think one of the things that we're in all obviously going to be struggling with for quite a while is, as emerging musicians, the backlog is also going to be very big. So concerts that were meant to be taking place in 2020 or 2021, it's going to be 2023. So I think
That's the thing.
it's a case of being innovative and a bit more entrepreneurial, and while supporting the concert series, also working out ways to do things slightly differently in different places.
Yeah,
Any
definitely.
barns all over the country are very, very good. So it would be great to know what you think of that as well.
Oh, Ivan has asked us a question here.
Oh, has he?
So Ivan asked, does performing remotely affect your repertoire choices? Remotely, as in live stream, rather
yeah.
than...
I would say yes. Well, I'm not sure if it's necessarily performing remotely or if it's performing in this time. So as we were saying, the idea of comfort and playing things for people to enjoy, not necessarily to feel quite so challenged by at the moment, is a big thing for me, is thinking what do our audiences want and need at the moment, and what's really important. And I think that was a big thing for me. I don't know if that's necessarily to do with being live, being online as opposed to in person, but I think it's the circumstances.
yeah,
What do you think?
I agree that I think people do want to gain some kind of comfort from music at the minute. But I think there's also, for us in particular, as performing musicians, there's this balance between getting some new and slightly different repertoire on the go. So at the minute, I'm working on this brilliant new commission that's been written for myself and my guitarist duo partner, James Girling. So we're premiering it. That's on the 11th of November, I think. You have to check. Yeah. So that'll be from 1901 Arts Club as part of Don DeGavino's series. But so this piece, we did wonder about premiere for this reason. But the fact is that it's absolutely brilliant music. This music written by Rafael Marino Acaro, and I think audiences also, they want something new. You know, there's not much new going on at the minute.
This is the thing as well. I think that is important, and luckily we actually have a couple commissions coming up as well.
Yeah, indeed.
So
That's so true.
it's nice to have
Along
that mix
similar
of
lines.
things. It's nice to have that mix, I think.
Yeah.
We have another question of what was your favourite piece to perform today?
Ooh.
Oh. We might have different answers. We haven't even checked about this.
No, we
This is
haven't.
exciting. Do you want to go first?
That's a tricky one. I think because Ooh,
Okay, I'll go first.
You go first, I'm thinking.
Eddie McGuire, thank you so much. I love Folk Memories in Autumn. It definitely is my favourite of the programme. I love everything we play, but for me, that piece is one that I've played for a while. It's also quite special. It was performed by a harpist called Helen MacLeod, who's from Scotland as well, who actually sadly passed away a few years ago. So it's quite nice to have that way to remember her, and it feels quite connected in that sense. But I love the scenery around it, and the fact that it's the Orkney Islands and you've been, it's nice to have that imagery, and it's got a lot of movement to it, which I really love.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy Folk Memories. I'd say it was a tie between that and the very first piece you heard, the Trousers Jig.
Oh,
yeah, I think because for me, I've never played a lot of folk, or I guess specifically Scottish folk before. So I've really enjoyed listening around that actually, and kind of getting into that style.
Because you listened to their whole album in
I
the car,
did,
didn't you?
yeah, on the way, I was on the way up to Glasgow to rehearsal, getting really into it, like driving towards the hills. Oh, it's great. Yeah,
exactly.
Great.
So those are our main two so far. Yeah. No one's coming up with their venue ideas. Our plan is scuppered. Our plan is scuppered. But no, I do really appreciate all the lovely comments. So thank you so much for all of that. Really nice. My dad, I recently had my harp serviced by a man called Billy Hornby. Any harpists out there, I very much recommend. And my dad has written in a comment, nice bass notes on the Ravel. Nice work, Billy. So he's getting a shout out at the moment.
I could feel the bass notes under my feet actually. It's quite nice.
We're in this barn. It hasn't got much insulation, right? Is that what it is? It's got no insulation. You really do. You feel all the reverb and everything on the ground. Everything resonates, and you can really feel it, which is great fun.
Yeah, we've got a nice message from Leicester again. Thank you very much for sharing details of this concert. So yeah, Dom and I recorded a lunchtime concert. It was all very professionally done. So yeah, do check that out as well. But yeah, thanks Leicester.
Yeah, oh, terrific. And just some really lovely messages. So thank you for that. Yeah. It's been wonderful to start this project at the moment, because it's been great to have somewhere to put your creative energy in a time where it's difficult to know where it's going to go. So it's been great to have it rehearsals and be working on a project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for what's next as well. So it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, terrific.
It's quite different, isn't it, doing a live stream to doing a normal concert? Because we've just done our two outdoor socially distanced concerts.
Yeah, I was saying to Meera actually that I almost find it more nerve-wracking to do on a live stream, because you've got audiences from everywhere and you don't know who they are until afterwards, and I'm a bit on the edge of my seat, but it's a good way to do it. And this was another question: how are audiences enjoying the live stream? Do you want more of them? Do you feel like there's a lot going on the internet? I'm very curious about this, because as a musician, we see where our social media bubbles, for example, are often made up of musicians, where you see what everyone's up to, and some days, I'll be honest, this is probably not good to say on my live stream, I look and go, I don't want to watch another live stream. So
you're not meant to say
I know,
that.
I'm sorry. But I am really curious what it's like for avid listeners as opposed to musicians themselves that are experiencing it.
We chatted quite a lot about this in a previous live stream, and I think people, as we were saying, people tuning in from all over the world, it's really nice for people to be able to access music that they wouldn't otherwise have, ready access to.
Apparently we have comments about venues earlier.
We need to
earlier. How do we find them?
I think we just have to read up. Ivan has asked a question though.
Oh, Ivan is quite the chatterbox.
He is.
It's like this in real life too. That's fine.
Okay.
What's one thing you wish you could have from a live concert hall here, and vice versa? What would you wish you could take to a live performance, having had this experience now? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Oh, what would I think what I would take from a concert hall is most definitely an audience. Just having an audience in person. Yeah. I would say that's the main thing for me. And this is actually really good, because you get the comments and it's so nice to hear. But I think for me the best thing about music is that you can see the benefit it's having on someone right in front of you, and that's a really special feeling, is to know you're doing that. And I think there's also an energy that you get in a concert hall that I find you don't necessarily get in the same way, but you get it playing together in a way that I don't get as a solo player.
Yeah, I think it's quite a different game if you're doing an ensemble live stream. as opposed to if you.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
Yeah.
it's a different game that way. What would I take to a concert hall that I know now? I think this is a big thing that I've been thinking about for quite a long time, but I think it's probably been highlighted, is you have to decide what music's for and who it's for. And I think one thing we can be quite guilty of as musicians, guilty is an exaggeration, of is playing things because we love them or because they're traditional or things, but we don't necessarily always think about what the audience really wants and what they're going to connect to. And I think this is something that, being in a field that's now slightly different, makes you think more about what you're going to do for an audience rather than what you're doing for you as a musician.
I mean, it should be that way anyway, really.
But it isn't always.
But
that's the thing.
I think sometimes we get a bit caught up in ourselves. There's someone here saying that they're really enjoying the live streams.
Thank you.
People who haven't had human contact.
Of course, you almost forget.
They're very strange times, aren't they?
They are.
Absolutely.
Unprecedented is the phrase out there.
That is, that's the one that's going around.
But I'm intrigued to find out about these venues that people have been saying. I'm on a mission. I'm sorry, but I got told.
They are there.
They are there, but where have they gone?
It's okay. We can watch it back later. So
that's true. That's true. I'll go and hunt them and take all your tips.
We can make a list.
Appreciate that.
But,
Taking you around kind of 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
10 to 2. Okay. we're gonna have to go back to this at a later date. We can't keep up.
Can you not see them? Or?
Not those ones for some reason.
That's very strange.
It's been selective, which is strict. Thank you, Dom. Terrific.
Oh.
Oh, Carol, that's really lovely. Thank you so much.
So you didn't meet
Sheffield.
Carol, she's friends with Liz and Jackie, who came to our concert.
Oh, terrific. Oh, this is exciting. To Sheffield. See, I love a warehouse. If there's any exposed brick, I'll be there in a heartbeat. So that'd be brilliant. Oh no, this is great. I don't know why they didn't quite pop up. It's a funny thing, isn't it? But this is really good to hear. Thank you, Dom, for giving me your phone.
So this is a really nice combination, actually, of people suggesting live venues for when things are a bit better.
Yeah.
But also people seem to be enjoying the live streams.
That
so
is really
as I
good
said,
to hear.
we'll be doing one in December and keep on going with that.
Absolutely.
So I guess we can make a note of
we
the
definitely
venues later.
will, and we will keep you updated with what we end up going for, because it is nice to have social media in that sense and get to stay connected with everyone. So that's been really good fun.
Brilliant.
So
I think we might have exhausted the chatter.
Do you think?
What do you reckon?
I feel fairly chattered out.
Yeah.
And I hear there's some soup going, so maybe we should go and lunch. That might be what we'll do now. But no, thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. It has been so great for us.
It's been really fun, yeah.
And great to have something to work towards. And we both have a few different things on in the interim, but we'll be back together in December.
Indeed we will.
So see you
Brilliant.
then.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye guys.
Bye.